This is not a popular topic, but it's a topic that I think it's important I put my 2 cents towards. In the media at the moment, on social media, especially YouTube, I don't know if it's Instagram, but YouTube, it's become a big problem. And this is a little longer than I would have wanted to do a video, so this will probably only go up on YouTube because I don't know if Instagram will have it or not. Either way, if it has it, well and good, and if it doesn't, oh well. Okay, this is for one of my clients who really enjoys my long videos. In this video, we're gonna talk about the Great Replacement and breaking Western countries to become third world countries. Okay, so a lot of people, because they're unable to think for themselves, like to label everything a conspiracy theory. But how is it a conspiracy if it's actually happening? A conspiracy is something that you think is happening, but you know, you've heard rumors. But how is it a conspiracy if it's actually happening? Now, I don't know if it's white papers, I don't know if it's a book, but they talk about the Great Replacement. Replacing Western countries, European white populations. I'm going to be very blunt when I make this video because this is a topic that is out of control now. And this is a topic that a lot of people, it's getting to the point that they can't hold back anymore on it because they're seeing what's happening. Okay. People have national identities, people have ethnic identities, you name it, whatever, that's fine. It's good, it's good. It's good to love your country if you have that type of patriotic love. I don't love any country in the world. People always ask me, where you from? I'm like, I'm not even from this planet. I don't even know, like nothing has ever felt like home in this entire world to me. Sure, I'm born in West London. I have British citizenship. I've lived in different countries. I found something great in each country, but it's difficult. So for some people, ancestrally, I don't really have a home, right? I don't understand the mentalities of the people I come from, and nor do I care for it. That's just not who I am. I value my citizenship in this country, and I value living in the UK. Sometimes it can be very tricky, but that's just life. I value traveling as well. So we talk about the Great Replacement, replacing people from non-Western countries into Western countries and wiping out the indigenous white populations so that now they become a sea of non-white countries. Now this isn't a surprise, it's happening, it's currently happening, it's a mess. And it's important to talk about this problem because a lot of people are not talking about it because of fear of being called racist. That's not a title I really care about. No one's going to point a finger at me and say, oh, this is how you think about people. For me personally, I deal with people's characters. I don't really care what color, what country you're from. As long as you're a good person, I'm going to deal with you. No problem. You got sketchy problems with your attitude, I'm not going to deal with you. It's now not a conspiracy. How are all these people coming into Western countries? They're destabilizing the welfare system. Rape has increased. Because when you're not civilized and you come to a country where men and women freely mix with each other, everybody, you know, generally has a general sense of respect for each other, that's going to be a big problem. But people don't like talking about this stuff because they're frightened, because their jobs are on the line, their businesses are on the line. But this is reality. We have to face reality. You got people coming to this country, and they're not coming through their own volition. By the way, they are being dragged and brought to these countries. They need to destabilize Western countries. It's already underway. It's a mess. The countries are filled with litter. You just look at all kind of lawless behavior. People are shitting on the streets. And sometimes I just don't know. Like, even when I think of London, it's like a lost cause, basically. You got people shitting on the street. You got people raping people in broad daylight. This is this child behavior, this savage behavior, this behavior of people that are not civilized, people who live like animals. I feel bad for saying that because no offense to animals, man. Animals have a lot of empathy, but they don't have the higher abilities of civility. If two animals want to fuck, they're gonna do it right in front of you. They don't care, man. They want to shit, they're gonna do it right in front of you. They don't care. People come to these countries, they don't learn English, they don't learn French, they don't learn Spanish, they don't learn anything. They sit on the state, they expect the state to give them free money, which is, they're very good at it, basically. They're very good at lying, cheating, robbing, and scamming people. Because that's a way of life where they're from. Lying, cheating, robbing, and scamming people is a way of life for people. There's a serious problem. And it's a problem that people who are native to the countries that are being invaded need to do something about it. It's bad. When people are speaking up for their countries, they're not being racist. I don't know why people think this is... If somebody was invading my home, I'm gonna meet you with a knife at the door. But because people have not realized it's happened over a slow progression, 20, 30 years, they've not realized what's happened. Back in the day, there was controlled immigration. If people came to a country, they worked hard. They didn't just mooch off the state or whatever. They worked hard, man. I remember when I was younger, very young, very, very young. And I remember my dad told me how difficult it was when he came to the UK. As most of you guys know, my father's from Uganda, so they got thrown out by Amin. He wanted all the Indians gone, so they threw him out, right? Basically, he came here. It's different. It's different. It's a hard life. It's cold. It's this, but you work hard. You're not just mooching off the state. You assimilate. You try your best. Of course, you love who you are, you've got your culture, you've got everything, but you try your best. People back in the day when they came to Western countries, they tried, man. They tried, they really tried. They learned the languages, they tried their best. They were honest, decent. Now, you just got people coming in for free, but they're being imported for free. That is really the challenge, though, isn't it? They're just being imported for free, basically. Just give them free housing, free welfare, free this, free that. To the point that people who are native, indigenous to the land, they're sleeping on the street. People always ask me, why is this happening? I'm like, because Western countries have a higher standard of living, and the elite want full control over everybody. And they know that people who have a higher standard of living are going to push back. They're not going to accept people shitting right in front of them on the bus stop, or they're not going to accept, random men just doing all kinds of harassment on a train. They're not going to accept that behavior. So you need to disempower them. You need to take the resources away from native people and give it to people who are parasites who are coming in. That's what they are, they're parasites. A lot of them are diseased. They're dirty, they got no hygiene. This is reality. To me, it makes no difference whether people like this video or not, because this is what's happening at the moment. When you go to a country, you work your way. If I moved to France today, and I spent time in France, I had to speak French. There's no, should I do it, should I not, I don't want to do it. You're living there. You have to assimilate yourself. So now it's become an out of control problem, to the point that we're almost wondering, how is there not a civil war yet? How are people not with guns, knives and machetes on the street? What is actually happening? What's going on? People are too scared, they're too frightened. They're too depressed, they're downtrodden. Everything's been taken away from them in this world. So they don't think they can fight for a land, an ancestral land, a country, but is important. If somebody came into my house and they were going to try and push me out and be a parasite and eat everything in my fridge and take all my money and try and get all my pins for my internet banking or whatever it is, you damn sure I'm not just going to pick up a knife, I'm going to pick up a couple of them. The trouble with people is they've not realized what's happened over time. The problem is too far gone. I say this to people all the time. As I've mentioned, most big cities in the West are a feral mess. London, Sydney, Paris, New York, San Diego, LA, Miami. If you're coming to a country, come. Nobody's telling you don't come. But you only coming with one mentality. It's that Jahil mentality. You're just being a parasite, so you take everything from the state. You have to contribute, you have to pay back. But you know, when people are parasites, they don't want to do it, they just want to leech off you. So is it really a conspiracy theory by this point? People can be very surprised I made this video, but she got a brown face, how could she make this video? Well, it's very important that people talk about what we're seeing. Because if a white person makes this video, then it's, oh, they're racist. No, it does not make somebody racist to want to defend their homeland, or it does not make me a houseist to want to defend my place. So if you want to use the term racist, that you use it properly, that's the thing. At least use it in a sense where people understand it. It's a complete destabilization of society. Destabilization of sexuality, that's a whole nother topic we can get into, but you guys know where I'm going with that. Destabilization of gender, destabilization of marriage, destabilization of language, destabilization of ancestral homeland. You don't really know, you're pushed out of your own home. There's a difference between people coming to a country and they're coming because they're truly fleeing something terrible. My dad came to this country with that. So we're not saying there's anything wrong with it, but you assimilate. You learn, this is who you are, this is your identity, you keep who you are, but you, of course, you feel proud of the new place you're at. As I said, I'm born in the UK, so for me, I've also lived in different countries. I go to a country, I do my best to try and speak the language, try and eat their food. Also because I'm not going like a parasite to try and get what they have. So realistically, I mean, speaking of which, are we really looking at a conspiracy, if that's what's happening? And yes, it's the goal. It's the absolute goal to replace native people in Western, European, North American, Australian countries, wipe them out. It's not, there's no doubt about that. But a lot of people don't see it that way, because why should they? Because the truth doesn't serve people, because when you have a mind of a parasite, the only thing you know how to do is take. So realistically, is it a conspiracy? No. There are plenty of other things that I can talk about. But there's reality that when I'm walking around in London, I don't feel safe anymore. The different countries, I just think, you guys, these random crazy guys, what are they doing in this country? How did they get here? These aren't men that belong here. But people like to turn a blind eye to the point where you won't be able to turn a blind eye. It's slowly coming to that point. Like I've said, I'm surprised that it's not a civil war already, or people are not out in the streets with guns, knives and machetes. And some people think, oh, I'm too civilized for that. Well, people who are coming in are not too civilized for that, and you're going to learn quickly. Men are going to learn when it's your sister, when it's your mom, because men generally don't see it aside a possession or a belonging that a woman can have her own autonomy. So I'll try and say that to men: when it's your sister, when it's your wife, when it's your mother, because that's how you understand it, then you're not going to sit quietly. Can't say I didn't warn you. Can't say I'm not talking about the topic. It's not an easy topic to talk about. It's a difficult topic. Even though I'm born in this country, even though for most of my life in and out I've lived here, I lived in different countries, I'm still not native to this land. People don't like hearing that. They want to be included and accept. I'm still a guest. I don't have white skin. I'm very aware of that. I'm still a guest. I'm grateful, I'm happy. Because life could be a lot worse, given the way I look, and I'm a woman. Where I'm from, it's horrible. So you're always thankful. And they're awkward situations that people don't want to talk about, and then they wonder, what's going on, or how does it work, or what's happening. So things are not always a conspiracy. If they're happening, they're not. But because you choose not to see the reality of something, doesn't mean it's not happening.